Etude number 12 is very good for developing a left hand that is very, very flexible. Not only does Popper have us play in thumb position with the octave frame, but he often expands and contracts that. So we have to be very flexible and mentally alert because that happens throughout the entire 4-page exercise. We have a lot of shifting. We have to always decide what kind of shift is best to use in each situation, and I will sometimes slowly show what I suggest that we do. And because we have so much shifting often in thumb position, I suggest that the thumb throughout the etude is pretty light in its pressure when we have shifting. Here we have a big shift that we need to have a method for. I suggest that we use the articulated approach where we hit the third finger after we hear the first finger G slowly and softly. So as I practice under tempo, I will make sure I hear the G first. And as I go faster, I will not change my technique, I will just lighten up the pressure in the first finger. Going on with bar number 9 until bar 30, we have a long stretch which requires us to really think about the shifting we have, which happens throughout this whole section, and not all the shifts are the same, and the solutions are of course very different. In this case, in bar 11 and 12, as I go backwards from the top E to B, I use anticipated shifting. So if I slow it down, you'll see the motion. In other words, hitting the arriving note in the previous bow softly and then changing the bow and playing it for real. Throughout this whole big section from bar 9 to 30, I would suggest that the left elbow is pretty high to enable us to play over the 4 strings with comfort. In bar 15, we have the 4th finger that needs to be used, and I suggest that the left elbow helps by going slightly forward to change its angle. Going on, we are going to have yet more shifting, and starting in bar 19, when I get there, there will be a need for the first finger to once again be the guide finger. In bar 23, where I just arrived, the thumb becomes now our guide finger. The last few shifts were actually different because once again the first finger in this case becomes our guide finger. That happens also in the next bar, bar 31, where we have a shift at the beginning of the bar, where we go from an F sharp to an E flat to a very quiet C sharp. That's my helping friend. Going on in bar number 34 and 35, we have now several shifts that are yet once again different because these ones do not require any guide finger. We go straight to the top note. So it's important to always decide in advance what kind of shift is appropriate and practice it accordingly. The next place where we have new material starts in bar number 62, and this is a complex passage where we have different fingers be the guide fingers. For example, bar 62 at the beginning has the thumb that is the guide finger, and later on in the bar the second finger becomes the guide finger. 65 is pretty nasty, and I think the only way to get these high notes is to help with the left elbow by going forward, and the wrist as well to be flexible and go forward so the forefinger can reach those notes. The next challenge, which is so interesting, again very typical of Popper, it's a caterpillar-like motion that we have over 4 strings starting in bar 67. And the last challenge is near the end, where we go up with the C major arpeggio to the very end of the fingerboard, and we need to adjust the left elbow once again, because we have very small intervals and we have to have half steps that are small enough so the left elbow going forward will be of help. And then we have the octaves coming backwards. We have to articulate the clarity with the left hand slightly stopping as it goes backwards.